Hey guys, it's Tristan from One Life, just looking at the deadlift. Today we're doing a sumo deadlift and we've got some accommodating resistance. So I've got some of these power bands, they're 50 pounds of tension each, and as you can see I've wrapped it around the barbell quite a few times. So what this is doing is it's changing the way that we experience the load. So instead of lifting say 150 kilos off the ground, we're lifting 40 kilos of weight plate and barbell weight, and then we're going to get the rest out of these elastic bands. So how does that work? Well, at the bottom of the motion we just step our feet into these things, and I'm using them with a lot of my clients for a couple of reasons. So what we find is that at the bottom of the pull you're only lifting 40 kilos, and it's from about the mid-shin that the bands start to kick in and you start to see them stretch and you get that tension out of them. And it's really not until you get to the knees that you really experience the heavy load of the bands. It's like an elastic band. You're stretching it until that very last point, and it's got an incredible amount of force that's just bringing you back in. So our force is all going downwards with our 40 kilos of weight, and then our heaps and heaps and heaps of band tension. Why is this a good thing? Well, it allows us to experience a heavy weight from the knees, and perhaps a heavier weight than we would actually be able to lift off the ground. So it exposes us to more weight and more resistance from a part of the lift that we're actually strongest. Because we're strongest from the knees, we're not so strong off the ground. This is more of a powerful position for the human body. So we get to experience that load from a position that we're really strong, and then that skill and that strength will transfer into the rest of the lift. Other thing it's really good for is grip strength, because that's forcing you down. It's pulling down hard on your hands, and I just find that my grip strength is going through the roof since I've used my band tension. Here's another 3 reps. So if we've got the most weight from our knees up to the pull, then we're really working on opening up the hips a lot. Tick, massive, massive important part of the deadlift. We mentioned that grip strength, we mentioned experiencing more load out of the lift. So it means you can hit another PB. You don't have to do that full lift off the ground with your maximum load every day. It's kind of like doing a rack pull, where guys are doing a heavy rack pull from the knees, from 9 inches, from 6 inches off the ground. We're just using resistance band to create that tension from elsewhere. And instead of pulling from the knees, if we take a bit of that tension out of the bands and we just have it wrapped around there once, what we're doing is we're just changing where the load kicks in. So normally what I'll do is if I don't have these bands looped around a lot, I'm getting less tension out of the bands, I'd normally kick the weight up on the deadlift a lot more. But I'll give you a look at what it looks like. So we don't experience the resistance till about here, which then becomes more like a rack pull. Extend up. It's up to you whether you go to the ground and re-tension that deadlift from the very bottom. But essentially working the same principle, just again the tension is kicking in a little bit later. It's super useful for training my clients and working on my own strength capabilities. It's just a power band, they're like 40 bucks. I'm not selling them, but I find them really useful. And that's just a great way to build your deadlift. So stay tuned for some more videos. Awesome! Get a big deadlift.